Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Joe K. It's Joe K Music. I got a special episode today. We're going to be giving an update here on the whole Godemis situation. And not only are we going to be doing that, but I got a special guest with me, everybody. I'm going to let this guy introduce himself because I know darn well I ain't going to be able to do it justice. Go
Well,
for it, man.
damn, Joe K, this has been a long time coming. It's like a meeting of the minds. Whoever the fuck we're talking about tonight, better watch out. If you don't know who I am, my name is Chuck motherfucking Reeves. You might know me as the Beast host. You might know me as your rapper's least favorite internet commentator. You might know me as the dude who made Violent J sell his office and move his entire record label into his house. Beast host, you know what I'm saying? Currently head creative of Scumbag Superstar, previous Grind Mode General, Thorn and Team Backpack side, Thorn and Hobson side.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Sometimes I forget my own history, but there's a lot there.
Dude, you're a staple in the underground, man. I'm glad that you can make it today. I want to dive right into this crap because I think the people have been asking, and there's been a lot of different side conversations going on. I want you to give your perspective on all of this and tell everybody from, kind of from the outside. It's kind of inside out, right? Like you're a huge follower of Strange. I know in the past, like you've talked a lot about the different things that they've had going on, different situations that have come up. Really, that entire scene, like you're pretty heavily involved in that, and so I think having your perspective here is going to be great. Let's go ahead and just dive straight into these screenshots. Some of this is going to be repeat of the first episode here, but I want to lay the foundation of what we're going to be talking about moving forward through this video. The very first thing that we have here, it is a first message that I sent to Godemis saying, hey, I'm reaching out. I heard about the situation you had with Sleep. I really just want to give you an opportunity. Let me know your side of the story. I really just want him to get his feature, contact him ASAP with a solution so that this can be worked out between you guys, right? That's really where all of this started. All of this started with that. And Chuck, I at this point, just based on this, forgetting what you know, tell me kind of where your mind would be at receiving a message like this.
I call that due diligence in our line of work, that you clearly had some information about a deal gone sour and you were contacting him for comment or to inform him if there was somehow a scammetry that he wasn't involved in going on, or maybe a third party, perhaps a manager, was getting in between him and Sleep on this. It seems like you were giving him every opportunity to clear up any of that. And I see his answer here was just to kind of give you a bad attitude and laugh in your face.
Dude, that's it, man. Like you literally summed it up. And I'm gonna get to the screenshot here because it gets really interesting as we're going through here and we're taking a look at all of these. I mean, these go forever, and we're gonna touch on every single one of these here. I'm gonna go back and we're gonna get things pulled up, but
just like anybody in the media, it looks like you did the responsible thing and you reached out to one of the direct subjects involved in a story you were preparing in order to get all information from all sides. I do that. I suggest to all people to try to do that at least 3 different ways on each story. So this is not an out of line conversation. This is not an out of line question, even if it was something that was completely fraudulent and made up on whoever told yours end.
Right. And that's the approach I tried to take on this. I never go at people straight out the gate until I give them an opportunity to tell me their side, right? I'm not just going to go around blasting everybody. If I did that, people wouldn't trust the information coming out. And you know that, Chuck. Like, you've been down this road before. You ain't going to come in anybody half-cocked, right? Like, you're going to get your stuff together. You're going to be talking about it. And the screenshot that we're looking at now is basically, it's Godemis saying, he just sends back LOL, right? And I'm like, is that funny? Like, you're not going to give me an answer? Is that funny? I didn't say anything to him, right? I left it at that. I left it at that for days. When I dropped the video that following day, because I'm just like, oh, okay, clearly you don't want to get this taken care of. You're not working anything out with Sleep. Like I was talking to people in Sleep's camp and trying to figure out what was going on. He wasn't he wasn't about to do anything for him. So I put the video up and then he responds with like, "Hey, can you take your video down? Like everything's being worked out. You ain't ruining my career. I got tons of people on my side," which is interesting to me because
I love that argument, the Stan argument of people are not smart and people aren't going to believe you. Well, the truth should not be dependent on how many people believe it. And that's always been a philosophy of mine. And I know it's always been a philosophy of yours. My favorite line on this entire page is "my girl has connections with YouTube anyways." And then he hits you with the purple devil as if to say, like, she was Jack from Twitter.
yeah, dude, I love that crap. Like that, honestly, when he said that right there to me was like icing on the cake. Like I knew it was a rap. At that point, I knew it was a rap. It's like when you start pulling out the like, "Hey, I know somebody on Twitter that's good," or I know someone on Twitter, on YouTube, on freaking Facebook, Google, wherever this person is, this magical Wizard of Oz, behind the curtain, that's just gonna come and like remove everything that I said against them. Which, in my defense, all I did was lay out the facts. I didn't say anything that crazy or reckless, right? The things that were speculatory, I left it speculatory. I left the door open so that if we got word that something wasn't exactly how people were describing, we could still be good. I'm not going to go out here and try to purposefully ruin somebody's career without any evidence or any information on the topic, and I certainly want to be trusted. So why am I just going to start spewing random crap out there? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. So let's go ahead then. I'm going to go through this.
So do we know you clearly spoke to Sleep? He don't want the feature anymore. So do you know why Sleep didn't want the feature anymore? Was it because he had a bad taste in his mouth over the entire ordeal, or was it something else?
So I talked to somebody in Sleep's camp that manages Sleep, right? Works with Sleep. And really where this started at was he this is over a span of like 4 or 5 months, right? So he wanted his verse. Everything was super cordial, and you guys can go check out the last video. It has all the screenshots between Sleep, Lyrical, and Godemis, but everything started out real cordial. Dude was sending installments. He overpaid. Like the collab was like $500 and he ended up sending him like 700 something because he just wanted to get the verse done. And
like to prompt him almost pre-tipping on Uber Eats and shit to make sure the food gets there.
Yeah, dude. So like the respect was there. Like clearly he's not going to just throw money at him for no reason. But where this went south was after all this happened, after he realized like, dude, I ain't getting my verse. Like that's when he put it on blast. Like he blasted it, right? Like he put it on his social media, everything that was going on. And once he did that, I started getting tagged in it. I reached out to his camp. I'm like, "Hey, what's going on with everything? Is it, is it cool if I move forward with this?" Probably gonna do it anyways because he put it on social media. So like, once you put it on social media, it's a wrap at that point.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
I still at this point, like, I'm trying to figure. I'm trying to do the right thing, but ultimately, what it came down to, he just had enough. He just had enough. He was getting screwed around for too long, and he just said, forget it. He tried getting a refund. He set up a payment plan with them like after the video dropped, all of a sudden they set up a payment plan, right? So in some of these screenshots we're going to look at, you're going to see like he's talking about like he's got, all this money and crap and whatever, like Godemis is saying he's got all his money. And then in the same breath, he offered $20 a week to Sleep Lyrical to pay back $775. Dude, I'm nobody, right? I'm nobody. I could go back and I can guarantee you I can make bigger payments than $20 a week. And for somebody that's supposed to be, so big and fronting like they're making all this money, it's just not a good look. Like you can't have it both ways. You just can't. And what we're looking at here, like you were mentioning before, like basically Godemis coming back and like he's sending me these clown emojis and crap, and he's saying like, "Oh, you're 704 subscribers," and like, check my stats. Yeah.
We back up.
Let's back up, man.
Because he told you to tame your mullet. I'll give him props for that one.
Yeah, dude, had me rolling, dude.
Nobody gives a fuck about your reaction video. Well, clearly you did. I'm still out here doing shows and on the label is Cess Crew. Okay, so I want to talk about that for a second. We know, because anybody who saw it, Cess Crew dissolved at some point in the last 4 years. And I'm not going to get into specifics because a lot of it would be hearsay, but at some point Godemis left the tour that Cess Crew was on and left Yubi to do the rest of those shows by himself. Now, so I see he's out there doing shows, right? But you see who's not with him.
Yeah.
You see who's not with him, right? You see who's not promoting any of those. Okay. Where are strange music artists doing shows right now, Joe? Are they doing them in bars in Kansas City, or are they doing them at the sound stage at Strange?
You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. Bingo.
So there's that. Now, as far as Cess Crew still being on the label, we'll get to that in a little while. But he may still be drawing some sort of a regular payment from Strange as part of an overall contract, because if you're familiar with the Cess Crew contract and some of the other contracts at Strange, they're structured different. So in my knowledge, the Cess Crew deal had more to do with a regularly scheduled guaranteed amount of money instead of, hey, we're going to shoot for what the maximum we think we're going to make is. We'll take less as long as you guarantee us money every month instead of us gambling and for that bigger dollar amount potentially. So he may be getting $50 fucking a week from Strange Music still to pay off whatever is left of whatever contracts. And that might be what Homeboy's basing his payoff plan on.
Yeah. No,
because nobody's doing good right now.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. He should, this is a bad look for him, because this is one of the few ways he's going to be able to make money, because I don't see him on the internet. Like, there's very limited ways for entertainers to make money right now. If you ain't selling pussy online, I hope you're selling some raps. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. No, you're right, man. You're right. And I think
and then he just got insulting to you, which that to me, when you did not accuse nobody of nothing, you didn't call him a broke ass, you didn't call him no names, and he all of a sudden you won the argument because everything you said was correct.
Yep. Dude, I literally said nothing. Like, he sent me all this stuff. Like, you could tell when someone's mad when they send you like the immediate 10 to 15 separate individual messages of just their anger, like just pissed off. Like, I'm going to give it to you all. And I'm like, dude, clearly it affected you, because when you have somebody like, I think my channel in particular is very interesting, because I don't have a huge amount of subscribers. I don't have videos with huge amount of views, but every time that I put out content that matters in the underground, you're underground takes it off.
You're influential to influential people.
That's exactly it, dude. That is exactly it.
Your average fan does not know you. But every fucking MC to come through the door in the last 5 years does, because you were involved in so many large scale hip hop and underground things, whether you were directly involved, whether you had a very hot take on a subject. And it was things like Funk Volume and the Don't Funk Up Our Beats contest and Team Backpack and all these things that we literally have seen shape our underground world over the last 5 years. So I'm not surprised by his attitude, because I'm sure he asked and somebody, because typically that's what happens with me. Who's this motherfucker?
Yep.
And somebody said who you were, and that's what set him into his little fucking shitstorm of a tizzy there.
Well, and this was after the video went out too. So I know, because people were sending me stuff. People were blowing him up with this video, dude. There's Reddits out there about this thing. There's all kinds of stuff in all the street team groups on Facebook and social media that they're sharing the video. People were sending it in, dude. People sent it in to TMZ. People sent it in to Vlad. Like I know nothing's gonna
No,
happen
you
with
know
that,
what's
right?
you know what is the most I learned this recently. You forget that these guys, some of them aren't as famous as we like to think they are. So
Hmm?
you send something like the fact Ritz got arrested to TMZ, and you realize no one gives a
They
fuck.
don't care, dude.
And then like people say to you, if he got arrested, it'd be on TMZ, and you don't want to break some fucking poor underground rap fan's heart by telling them their fucking white Jesus isn't real.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. That's exactly it, man. And that's what happens. Like that's what I try to warn people about because I feel like a lot of these like mid tier underground rappers, and that's not a knock on anybody, right? There's levels of this stuff, and I feel like the people that are, we're talking the people that are below, like Tech Nine, Hobson level, right? Like I would still, I mean, Tech. I don't even want to get in that argument because I feel like people can argue that Tech Nine is pretty dang
Well, towards
mainstream at
the
this
end, that's
point,
going to
and
be part of this conversation
yeah, yeah,
a little
but
bit.
this mid tier stuff, like when you do bad business and you're doing business with people that are low tier underground rappers, and again, not a knock, it's just there's levels of this crap. That is gonna spread like wildfire, dude. Because the underground community, there's so many sub communities within it. You have Strange, you have Funk Volume, you have ICP, you have Atmosphere, Rhymesters. Like, you have all these different groups within the underground. But when this kind of crap hits, it goes everywhere, and people care about it. And that's the mistake that I feel like he made because he could have handled this 10 different ways that would have probably produced a better outcome.
A positive, a net
Yes.
positive as a result of a net negative, because there's always a way if a person comes to you for you to be able to correct yourself and correct situations without the person who brought you the opportunity to correct those situations feeling like you're now attacking them.
Well, and one of the screenshots here I'm pulling up is this it's from Mr. Cess Crew, right? And what's hilarious about this is when I dropped the video, I'm sitting there going through my emails, like seeing who's responding, so I can respond to
Is
them
that
on
this
the YouTube.
Jazz G person? Because I don't know who this is.
No, that's a different one. We're gonna get to that because I was getting some like you better not run into Godemis crap. But the one I'm looking at here, it's just a screenshot of the YouTube comment from Mr. Cess Crew, and it says, "I assure you, I do not conduct business in this," and it says dot dot dot. And the reason it's grayed out is because he deleted the comment after he sent it in. He like tried to go back
Oh,
and delete it, but I still had the email in there, which is what was freaking hilarious to me because I'm sitting here like,
I
dude,
see it now. All right.
like it's right here, it's right here,
Yeah,
and
you had him. Yeah, you had him pacing at 5 a.m. That shit happens.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, he could have just said fucking like, look, man, this is the situation. I'm fixing it. He could have put out an IG video of himself explaining, look, he could have turned this into a net positive where he's like, look, if there's an issue, a discrepancy, order a verse from me right now. You'll get 24-hour
right,
turnaround. And then he has the money to pay back whoever he has to pay back. And then he's kind of proven that maybe you're just an asshole. The
yep,
story, whether true or not, has now been trumped by a better story that he took discount verses over a weekend and knocked out 8 of them or some crazy shit.
yep. And the next part I want to get your input on here because I feel like it's kind of a touchy subject, right? I think especially in 2021, with how things have gone over the last year, I think people's mental health has definitely been impacted over the last year. And
This
I
shit
think
wasn't right before. And like, to be honest, none of our shit was right before. But why do you think he would take off from a tour if his mental health was fucking straight? Why do
yep,
you think he just kept sending fucking like, there's a lot in these messages that screams to me not being all there. Now, that's the thing. I can't hold That's not an excuse to do bad business. That's certainly not. And I earlier he blamed like writer's block or something. And it's like, you gonna tell me you ain't wrote shit in 5 months, fam? Like you ain't
Yeah.
wrote a fucking thing. You ain't had a fucking shit fart on a napkin. You ain't done nothing.
What do
I
you
don't believe you.
where do you think Strange's responsibility should be in this? One, do you think they're responsible in these kind of situations? One, for the scamming or the lack of delivery on verses, and then two, where is their responsibility for the artists that they've signed
Okay.
to make sure that their mental is in the right spot?
This is what I'm gonna say. If I don't now, to be honest with you, maybe I should have paid better attention during your first video. Does he represent Strange on any of his social medias? Like, d- it,
He's been telling and arguing with people that
but
he's
what I
still a
mean
part
is,
of Strange.
so that aside, because to be honest with you, lies he wants to tell people in his inbox that are unrelated to the situation are not fucking admissible. When he spoke to Sleep Lyrical, was he speaking to Sleep Lyrical as, hey, get strange music artist Godemis on your track? Or was he saying get Godemis on your track? Because that's what we're dealing with these
It
days.
that's an interesting point, and it was positioned as Godemis slash Cess Crew, which I think is even
You
more
could say
interesting.
Godemis of Cess Crew. Like but
But
that's the thing.
but it
And
went
you're
it
not,
went further than that though, Chuck. It went further than that. It was, do you want a Godemis verse or are you looking for Cess Crew? So it was being offered up as an either
well then,
or,
but I
and if
don't know. See, that's the thing. I don't know
that,
that internal.
but
Now,
but that
this is
but
what I'll say
go
about
ahead,
Strange in
go ahead.
particular. We've dealt with this before. People have short memories. There was a guy long ago whose name was Cut Calhoun. Cut Calhoun was ripping people off from sea to sea. His fucking manager, fucking Fagorot, to quote Gmo Ski. If you don't know who we're talking about, I'm not going to utter that fucker's name because if I say it 3 times in this mirror, he might show up here and try to eat all my snack cakes. Okay. Cut Calhoun was selling Tech Nine socks on eBay and his fucking toothbrush and used fucking razor blade, like personal items of text to the point where there's like a rule in the rule book about it called the Calhoun rule. Did Strange ever issue a statement ever officially saying, yeah, homeboy's not attached over here no more? No.
But
But sooner or
should
later,
they?
Tech and him did. Like Tech kind of did, and kind of was like, "Yo, you're a fucking idiot." But these record labels never do that. Now, do I think they should? And that especially in the current climate, that it's important to draw these differential lines.
Yep.
Yes. But the then the fucking then the argument becomes, is it the record label's responsibility to educate the fan as to the multitude of reasons that an artist just their fucking contract just expires and it's not renewed? There's 1,000,000,000 reasons that shit could happen. So
Yeah.
what's the first place everybody goes? Oh, he's not on a label no more. Where's the first place everybody goes? So
Yeah. I mean,
you open up a weird can of worms when you start talking about record labels and responsibility.
because I know that was a question a lot of people, and that's a point a lot of people are making, and a lot of Strange Music fans are really pissed off that, well, one, there were some things that were said about like studio time, and that's kind of what this screenshot's alluding to here. It's like basically he's talking about his mental health. He's saying like he's trying to get clean, right? So this is that mental health aspect. This is that, like, I'm an addict. Like I'm openly admitting I have a problem. I'm trying to get things right, and Strange isn't helping at all. They're not putting him on shows, which I think has it's tricky
Well,
now
if you're
because of
trying to
COVID.
get sober and remain sober, then shows ain't the fucking place for you. And that's been shown time and time again, Gotti. Because to be honest with you, if since we want to talk like that, why would you leave a tour? Did you leave a tour or did you just miss bus call because you were in some crack house someplace? Now, like, pick one or the other. You
Yeah.
work or you're working on your sobriety. You take jobs or you take time off. You don't take a job and then claim you need to take time off. But like 5 months on a verse, especially nowadays, especially with what the turnaround time is for most people, that's ridiculous.
Well,
To
here's
use those things as excuses.
yeah, I think it's interesting, and I'm kind of torn between the two. You know, I think that with a label coming out and just blatantly putting it out there that hey, one of our artists has been scamming people, like it's kind of a bad PR move, you know, to some degree, right? What I think would be a better PR move for the underground, and I want to touch on this too because we have Travis and we have Tech, and we know that they're making bank, right? And they've worked very hard to get to that point, like no doubt. Like they've been at this for years. They've dedicated their lives to this. They've invested and took the risk on, and I think that speaks volumes of somebody when they're taking all the risk on. And I feel like they try to sidestep a lot of that risk in a lot of their signings as of late, but that's neither here nor there. But I feel like what could have been a better PR play, hey, you know what? Underground rapper that not too many people have heard about, and all these other like, you know, 10 people that we owe a total of, I don't know, 5 to 7,000 to. Let's wash our hands of this crap. We look what we just did. We just made it right. We took care of this. On top of that, Godemis is out. We took care of that for you guys.
What do you mean?
What do you think that would have done?
Shit?
Oh no, but what do you think that would have done? Like, what do you think people's reactions would have been to that crap?
Like that's like asking what's people's reactions going to be to fucking Travis O'Gwen walking on water. Because you know what I'm saying? Like it's just that's ridiculous. Because first of all, the way these contracts are structured and your typical underground deal these days, which no one should be entering into under any fucking circumstances, they're structured in a very free form way, especially over in Strange now, where it's almost a la carte, where you have a menu of stuff that the label can do for you or provide for you, and you pick shit off a list, and then your percentage changes and shit like that based on what they're providing for you or providing for yourself. So if Godemis as a solo artist never checked the feature booking, agent thing, then he's his own feature booking agent, and that's just the fucking way it is, right?
Yep. I thought it was interesting too that they're charging him $125. Supposedly, this is what he said, that they charge him $125. I assume an hour to go record at the studio.
Here's my question. Did Sleep Lyrical ever speak to anyone in the Strange office?
No.
Then this deal was not fucking sanctioned by Strange, which makes me think that Godemis was operating outside of the label. And because I have a Chris Calico feature. It's not out yet. There's a song coming out down the road that's got some people on it, one of them being Chris Calico. I'm not going to say anything else other than that. But given the fact that I just put out a track not a month ago with Mad Child Slain and Apathy on it all together, people should know I ain't fucking around. The Chris Calico feature cost me X number of dollars, but you better fucking believe I had to talk to the office at some point, because you either have clearance, because you don't want Spotify to take your fucking feature and tell you can't post it because you didn't get clearance. And I'll tell you what, I jokingly use a snake and bat and I get a fucking cease and desist letter. So if anybody here is fraudulently using shit that even includes the adjective Strange, you're going to get a cease and desist letter, because that's who Travis is. So that's why I'm asking, like, there's very particular lines that if he didn't cross, there's not only no responsibility to assign, no one can be blamed, unfortunately. And it's just the nature of this bullshit we do.
Well, he plays into that too. Like the screenshot I'm going to show here, this in the bottom here, it's basically Godemis saying you're not, but this is him like kind of after everything blew up. He's saying you're not getting anything back, talking slick. We should have done this privately, which is funny because I tried to do it privately with him and he didn't want to do that. So I can only imagine what he's doing for these artists that pay him $700 for a feature. But he also says at the very end, he says, number one rule, use a contract. We all know that. Like that's wild, dude.
Unfortunately,
he's not wrong.
Now you know how I am, man. I'm pro creator, bro. I'm pro creator. But
Pro,
throughout the
wait,
course of my
Procreator. Okay.
I'm pro creator. Like if you create shit, then I'm on your side. Like I'm
Yep.
not on Travis's side. Like I'm to some degree, I'm not even on tech side. Like I'm not on the sides of these dudes who I don't see as being creative at all. But like that shit there, like I have no sympathy if you are the unfortunate few that sleep with the parakeets and fucking don't know how to work a contract. Because
Yep.
especially with digital, especially with Spotify, they will. How do you expect to get your money back?
Yep.
Like anybody, clearances are clearances. Like you need to understand that shit. Like contracts are contracts, even digitally. Like, yes, there is some validity to the verbal contract and your Facebook fucking log, but that's also fucking defensible in court.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can make shit up. If you get actual documents and shit, pretty much you can get blank ones online, like and
Yep.
modify them. They don't have to be confusing.
Yeah.
You agree on the price. You make sure you write in there and no other payments or royalties, right?
Yep.
You're not going to get shit if there's a video appearance. You're agreeing to appear for X number of days to film this video. If there's social media, like if you're expecting a motherfucker to share your shit on his gram, it better be in a contract somewhere that he's agreeing to X number of shares because nobody's going to
That
share your shit, bro.
dude, preach it.
No
All
one's going to
hail.
share your shit, bro. Kevin Hart made his Twitter another business. So when he does a movie, he gets 60 million or whatever it is. And then they're like, well, why aren't you tweeting about the movie? And he's like, what do you mean? I don't tweet. The company that runs at Kevin Hart Twitter tweets. You need to make a deal with them for the promotion of the movie. So
Yep.
like
That's the unsung that's the unsung hero of the contract, because people forget that you can get a feature from just about almost anybody, and if you're not paying for them to actually promote it themselves along with you, who are you reaching? You're reaching your fans that you already have 9 times out of 10. You may dip into their fan base a little bit, but you're not really getting the full the full Monty of the deal. So I think that's a great tip for all of you underground rappers out there. Like when you're doing these contracts and you're paying for these features, pay, even if it's a little bit extra. Like I think about it this way, dude, he paid $500 originally for this verse, right? And I'm sure people, this guy was fiending for any amount of dollars he could get. So I'm sure there were deals struck left and right, but they range from 500 to 1500 supposedly. And this guy, Sleep Lyrical, pays $500. It gives him extra for studio time, extra just because he wanted to get it done. Paid a little bit of extra and say, hey, we want this promoted. And the key to this one on Strange,
and
where is it promoted?
Right now, you can negotiate anything. The fact that one of the most one of the companies that grew the most during 2020 was Cameo shows you the depths by which we've gone. Like seriously, somebody paid $50 to have Chris Hansen tell me to have a seat.
Dude, okay, I see all these rappers with this Cameo stuff.
And the thing is with things like Cameo and this new economy of the cosign, I guess you could call it, your average fan's intelligence hasn't caught up yet.
Oh, dude, I don't know about that.
See these things. In some cases, they'll see these things and they'll buy it hook, line, and sinker. So he could have negotiated anything. Now, as far as negotiating Strange, he's not authorized.
Right. Well, and so that's the kicker.
You'd never get your stuff on a playlist. Like, and he wouldn't even be the department to talk to on that.
Well, and he's the interesting part in this though, he's at some point part of Cess Crew. I don't know where that lands right at this very moment, but he had a solo deal with Strange. And so depending on how all of that was structured, if he signed a 1-year, Strange Music deal, or like I think for them, they do a lot of like albums, like, hey, you're going to give me 1 album or 2 albums or whatever, whatever that deal was worked out between them.
It's like a cycle.
Yeah.
I think they call it like, an album cycle.
Yeah. Go through the tour, like, everything that's involved in that, whatever that deal was. I haven't seen it. I don't know exactly what it was, but I think that's the interesting part is going back to your a la carte comment, if he was doing all of this kind of a la carte, which parts did he control and which parts did Strange control? Because it sounds to me, at least from the excuses he's giving, which I can't believe a mother effing word of anything he's saying at this point, but from the excuses I'm hearing, it seems like he's not getting a whole lot out of Strange other than getting the Strange cosign and the fan base that comes with that.
Now, this is where it kind of, you look around and I can tell you that everybody's running shit this way. And if you look at people like Ouija Mac, that's exactly the deal Ouija Mac has. He's literally paying a licensing fee to utilize, number one, the Hatchet Man logo, and number two, an existing Psychopathic Records mailing list. That's the big one here. If you have an email list, why do you think Token's famous? Token got on because of his mailing list. He had like over 1 million emails in his mailing list when he, popped big. If you have a large mailing list, you can sell access to that to people who are trying to draw from a similar base that you've already grown. So people signing Welcome to the Underground deals under Magic Ninja right now. Those are a la carte deals, similar to the Strange deals, that can be limited to as little as merchandise only. For example, and that's what Ritz is doing. Ritz, anybody who got Ritz merch recently, you know that shit came from Livonia, Michigan. The only thing that I know that's in Livonia, Michigan is the Magic Ninja Dojo. So why would Ritz's merch be coming from the Magic Ninja Dojo? Oh, I know why, because he's got a merch deal over there, but he's got Clientele or CNT, whatever the fuck it's called, his own label. So trust me, everybody's doing business this way. And depending on what you're trying to accomplish, everything's for fucking sale.
Yeah. Yeah.
Including logos, including entire fan base loyalties, which I don't think should be for sale. It's working for some people. For others, we're watching their fucking empires crumble.
Yeah, it's crazy from the outside looking in, and I think that's really the perspective I've tried to keep on things is I'm not too close to a lot of the internals. I try not to dig my nose into things that, quite frankly, unless a situation arises, I'm just kind of sit back as a fan and give my perspective as just somebody with common sense, which I feel like is lacking in a lot of people these days. So it's like you see these things happening, right? And when you compare the music industry to just about any other industry, it's particularly crazy to me that they can do things the way they do things and with very minimal risk these days, because in the age of social media, people are blowing up by themselves. They don't, I think you alluded to this earlier, they don't necessarily need all of these deals a lot of the times. And
why am I going to
really,
give you why am I going to give you a master?
right.
What the, like, why? If I have a fan base, why the fuck would I give you my next master? How about we just work something out where you make my merch and you take 17.5% off the top and cut me a check once every 3 months? And I don't even, all I do is green check or red X designs. I don't do nothing else.
That dude, look at like what Funk Volume was getting involved in, right? Like that, when you have the Hobsons of the world agreeing to those kind of things, that should tell you that there's a little bit more potential value there in those kind of deals when they're structured like that than expecting a label to, do it like the old days. Here's your, $500,000 advance. Go pay for your beats. Go pay for your studio time. It's all coming out of this advance. And then the rapper goes and buys a $500,000 car and then runs out of money and is wondering why he's broke. It's a new age, but that same kind of mentality though people have, and that's the problem. People are getting into these deals. They're doing this a la carte thing, thinking that it's going to turn out much better than it really is. But the things they're choosing within their contract are sometimes, I feel like, the wrong things.
Yeah, the arbitrary things, or like I see people swinging for certain ass things, and it's like, okay, do you, with your lane, so to speak, will world star audiences even react well to your lane? Like, I understand the desire for views, but I've learned over the years not all money is good money. So if you are doing a certain underground lane, you know that shit's not going to be received well over there. You might get 1 million views. I'm seeing people co-sign shit like Warrack. And it's like, why? Because they get views. Like, like some money's not good money, man. And at this day and age, it's like with the internet, your bad moves can get you on in a like in a non-positive way, very quick, like way quicker
Yeah.
than you getting on in a positive way. So you might see that shortcut of, yo, man, let me do something outrageous for the internet or something stupid, and it's going to be that quick route to fandom. But that shit collapses because it's made of paper.
Where do you think with this Godemis situation? What do you, if you had to guess, right? Totally just pie in the sky, making it up. Like, where does this go from here with everything that we've seen? You know, the last thing, real quick. Looking at this screenshot again, where it says, you know, other people were kicked off the label too. You know, using two as TOO, as in he's also getting kicked off, and we don't know if that means Cess Crew or just Godemis's solo deal, you know, expired or whatever that means. But where do you think this goes from here, man? Like, I'm very interested in hearing your perspective on this, because I feel like everyone's all over the place and nobody really knows what's going to happen or how Strange is going to handle this. But if you had to guess, what do you think it would be?
I don't think they handle it. I mean, it took Team Backpack how long to deal with the Taskmaster situation? Like, it took them how long to deal with Cut Calhoun the first time? Motherfuckers are still asking if ABK's on Psychopathic. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
your average fan is like the Turtle Club. No offense. Like, and I get that. Unfortunately, I made my hobby my main source of fucking monetary employment. So I get to look at things and see them from the non-fan perspective mostly. But and people have short memories. So I mean, you were the one who posted the mental health, oh, woe was me, Hobson response video. How many times have, like, this ain't new from you, Marcus? Like, why are you acting like this music's gonna somehow sound new? You've always been this dude. Like, and then I want to know why you moved to Thailand. I
Well,
really want to know why you
th-
moved to Thailand. You can get a lobster for $3 in Thailand.
so I think, and I felt like that video, like, and again, like, fan perspective, right? I've been there for the cyclical Hobson, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm pissed off, you know, kind of cycle. The I'm pumping out music, no one's gonna stop me. The I'm going into a freaking cave and no one's gonna find me for 3 years. I've been through all of that as a fan, right? And so when I saw that video, it hit a little bit different. I feel like this time, like, I feel like something must have clicked, like some kind of like weird, like, spiritual awakening. And he was talking about like hypnotherapy and stuff. I don't know if you watched his video, but
I did.
he was talking about hypnotherapy, and I think the Thailand thing he didn't really touch on, so I'm just speculating. But I almost feel like the Thailand thing was like, let me get out of the States, let me go to like the middle of nowhere where probably not a lot of people like know who he is, where he can just be Hobson, which I don't even know what that means anymore. Like, did he just go there and sit there by himself?
Did
I
he
saw
just
people
skate the
with him.
Buddha? Did he skate the Buddha statue or something over and over again? Like,
I,
what the fuck happened?
I feel like he was on some kind of journey, dude. I don't know. Maybe that was it. He was just going through the
But yeah,
ruins
people
or
like
something.
fan bases have short attention spans, and unless there's an overt something from the label, now I guarantee if he goes nuts and does something crazy that makes the news, they will say,
Like Godemis.
we've been detached from it. But think about the fact that nobody knew Chris Calico hadn't been under contract for damn near 18 months. Okay. From what I understand, he's not under contract now. 2020 changed a lot for a lot of people. And like, since we're kind of getting towards the end and we're talking about other people being kicked off, it may not even, I hate this. And this is where the education part comes in. And I feel like that's why people like me and you were important. Kicked off, I think, is kind of the wrong way to put shit. Cause like I said, there's a million fucking reasons why someone's contract may run out or may not be, renewed. And most of the time, in most cases, it's artist desire. Ritz didn't want to re-sign with Strange. He wanted to go do his own thing and do a la carte services through somebody else.
Do you think, and it's hard to not look at those kind of situations as kind of a cynic, right? Do you feel like some of these artists, and I'm not saying Ritz in particular, but do you feel like any of these artists are coming through for these, you know, one album or one cycle deals or
Oh
whatever,
no, not
just
as
to tap,
strange.
just to
Ooh,
tap
not as
in,
strange. No
just
way.
just to tap in and
No
steal
way.
fans? Never,
No
huh?
way. Travis wouldn't let that shit happen. And that's why
How would he know?
he created It Goes Up. Because someone like Saigon, who had a one project deal, was not given access to the entire Strings Music database nor their fan base. He was given of, you saw what they did for him. It was very
Yeah,
small, and they're not fucking with him no more. So it's over. So not only was it very small, it was very short term because of the fucking pandemic.
yeah.
Now the pandemic changed a lot. With 80% of Strange's revenue comes from touring.
Oh yeah, and all the, I mean, the
Okay,
tours and the merch and the whole package that comes with
hemorrhaging
that.
money.
Yeah.
So merch is down. There was a major merch purchase made literally days before the country got shut down in preparation for the tour. That money, they I don't think they ever recouped that. Okay, because it was for artist jerseys. A lot of those artists aren't being pushed by the label anymore
Or they're not even on the label anymore.
because Travis is
Yeah.
trying to clean house. Something tells me you're going to see a move that involves Jelly and Travis going and doing something by themselves,
Oh, you think so?
and Tech making a move to a larger place, because that's the only way he's going to get his J feature. That's the only way he's going to reach the Parthenon of MCs that he thinks he belongs with.
Where do you think
Marshall,
where do you think Tech would go though?
Universal, fucking Sony. Because you got to think, you know how much of him he actually owns? It's not a lot. And it's less now that he got divorced. So who's holding all the cards? Travis. This has been a thing with Travis. And it's part of what I kind of spoke to you before about. Let's say this: Travis's answer to some people's lives being in danger. So they went to New Zealand. They were in New Zealand during those big earthquakes. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Okay. So they were in a high-rise hotel in New Zealand. Chris Calico is fucking terrified. He will not go up to the fucking room because it's up, you know, and they're fucking having 6.5 earthquakes and shit. The touring team, Tech, Chris, they all want to go home. You know what Travis's answer was? Y'all are insured.
Savage.
He booked Tech 9 for Istanbul in the middle of a Turkish civil war.
That's crazy, dude.
There was a fucking State Department travel advisory against Istanbul, but Tech did a show there. So no one cares over there. Like the guy in charge,
Tech had
about
to,
nothing.
but
The
Tech had
dude
to
in
have
charge-
agreed.
The dude in charge of the snake in the back gives a fuck about one thing: making sure he can flex Ferraris on Instagram. That's the one fucking thing he gives a fuck about. Oh, that, and that you buy Mackenzie's record, even though it's fucking terrible, and she sounds like Brooke Hogan. Like I'm to the point now with that dude. Like it's annoying to see his Instagram, because it's like, bro, there's people out here who can't fucking eat in our underground, but you're gonna flex Ferraris. It's Ferrari 4 days a week on his fucking Instagram. I know that dude. I know for a fact, and he can fucking fact check me if he dares. He spent $1 million in 2 months on cars in the middle of the fucking pandemic, but you're not gonna fucking pay your artist. You're gonna release independent artists from their contracts because you don't want to fucking pay them, but you're gonna spend $1 million on cars. You remember when he hurt his neck?
No, I don't even remember that.
A couple months ago, people who pay attention to his Instagram, he hurt his neck. He rolled one of them Can-Am $60,000 ATV things,
Oh,
and the
dang.
cage failed. Okay, and he
Wow.
hurt his neck. The joke was that he hurt his neck jumping into his fucking pile of money, fucking Scrooge McDuck style. Okay, there's people out here who can't fucking eat, Trav. All right, you spent $500,000 on a sound stage, and you haven't been able to break 100 paid participants on one of your fucking online concerts. Fuck out of here. Sorry.
But no, dude, I think that goes all together with this whole thing though, and that's what I was alluding to before. Like when it comes to the PR aspect of all of this crap happening, right? That is what the fans are feeling now, and normally for these kind of things, like in most record companies, everybody looks at a record company like when you mention like Universal or any of these bigger companies, like everybody knows that the people at the top of those companies are just raking in money, right? I feel like though sometimes with these underground labels, the fans are so close to everything that's going on and they follow each individual, they're following the owners. Dude, I couldn't even tell you right now like the owners of Sony, and I'm certainly not following them.
But
But that's my point. Like people don't, when people are following like, like underground artists, they're knee deep and they're going all the way to the top with their following. They're not just following Tech Nine. They're following Tech Nine. They're following Travis. They're following the merch company. Like they're literally following every aspect
because
of this.
it becomes the team dynamic is something that I say Death Row started.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bad Boy did it. You realize that there is a cumulative effect to the tree team dynamic. A lot of these companies aren't saying that these people aren't on their labels anymore because they do not wish them harm.
But when
it's a consumer facing move. Now, any of these companies realize when you say somebody left, you're harming them. So if they don't want to cause an artist harm leaving the door, they're not going to say nothing. And that's where they get caught.
But that's exactly it though, Chuck. Like when that kind of stuff happens, it pisses off the fans because now like a lot of these people's fans are artists themselves, like they're in there making music, they're working directly with these artists themselves. Like they're knee deep in their fandom to these labels, and when you have this kind of stuff happen, it's different. It just hits different because they're so close to the companies in these organizations. It's different than if something goes on with Eminem, right? Like something through Eminem. Like it hits so different. If Eminem doesn't do a feature for somebody, you think that's even gonna scratch the freaking internet at all? Nobody gives an F about that.
No, because
they blow it off.
But you wouldn't be in a position to even.
No, but
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean. It's just a different
drop
feel.
in the ocean.
Exactly.
It's a drop in the ocean.
Exactly. It's not even news. But for labels like this, when this kind of crap happens, it looks bad not only on the artist, but it also hits the label. And when the label doesn't respond, it makes the fans feel like exactly what you were describing. Travis, which again, he built that company personally, and I maybe we feel differently on this. I think he should be able to freaking go swimming in his money like Scrooge McDuck. He worked hard. He built that company up.
It's not liquid.
But it's a bad look.
It's thousands of very small pieces of metal that form a hard surface.
But it's a bad look. I think that's what we agree on. Terrible look. It's a horrible look, and there's no good spin to
so
that.
Let me give you a worst case scenario. You got a rapper running around, and he's claiming your record label, and you really don't care because you're a small house. All right, nobody gives a fuck about you anyway. But then he kills two of your fans. His name's Sam, and we know that dude. That dude's real. And he isn't on our label was not a statement made until after he killed two of their fans. That's the worst case scenario. Okay? Best case scenario is what happens now. People just get contracts expire, people just leave, nothing is said. And the reason nothing is said is with that best of intention of the consumer facing, we don't want to take away your marketability with our fan base that you may have built during your time here, strictly because your address changed. Because fans are fickle. Fans fucking suck. Okay, they're fickle. You change addresses, they might not like you. Worst case scenario, something happens. Like what and a public statement has to go out that distances. And that happens for a variety of fucking reasons. We see it all the time. So typically, if an announcement's made, it's for a bad reason. So if this was to say get bad enough with the PR against Strange, and you could show instances where he was selling himself as Strange or selling Strange services, perhaps he didn't have access to, they're not going to say shit.
Yeah.
Because they could also, and here's one for you. I learned a lot about this. When you leave a job and you go to another job and they call your old job and say, hey, how good of an employee was he? Your old job's not allowed to trash you. And technically, saying you were kicked off a label could be considered employment related libel. So I think by making no statement at all, these record labels are protecting themselves on a legality level very, very well.
So you
And
think
they're only making fucking announcements when there's a reason.
so you think they're better off at this point? I mean, for legal reasons and for their own
Yeah.
face
Yep.
value of they're saying a lot by saying a little, essentially, right? Um, I
Buyer beware. We know that.
yeah.
The contract thing was absolutely right, especially if you're still dicking around and not fucking with contracts, you shouldn't be fucking with Cess Crew. You shouldn't think you're on that level. That's what I say about that.
Dude, I think this is a
So
conversation for a whole nother episode, but
yeah,
talking about contracts and stuff like again, and here's the catch-22 with the contract, right? When you're doing a feature for $500, what is that contract worth in court? You know what I mean, Chuck? Like you know the deal when you go to court. Like it's not like you go to court and everything's a free ride. You go to court and you're paying money to get a couple $100 back, and a
yeah,
lot of
it's
the
small
times
claims court
yeah,
shit, if that. But
yeah,
sometimes you can get there's damages that exceed that depending on what the situation is, and it's always good to have a contract because, like I said,
agreed.
like then you can negotiate. They're called clauses.
Yep.
Clause 1, you're going to Instagram my shit. Clause B, you're gonna Facebook my shit. Clause I. You're gonna put my shit on Twitter. Like you can negotiate anything for any amount of money nowadays. I mean, shit, I can get Andrew Dice Clay to call my mom a whore for her birthday. You know, you can
Yeah.
negotiate anything nowadays, man. People are fucking broke. People trying to get well, everybody's broke but Travis. So everybody out there trying to get his money. As far as the status of the roster, like you were talking about, from what I understand, everybody's been released except for Tech, Mayday, which their deal is super modified, and you can tell that because they have a separate merchandise shop like Zool does.
They've been getting
Like
that
they're
promo
really
too.
detached. They have their own thing going,
Yeah.
right? They sold their own concert during the pandemic before Strange Soundstage came out. They were selling an online concert. Um, Chris Calico, I heard his new contract was ripped up at some point, and just it's never been like really discussed because there hasn't been any work for him to do, and he's just getting his standard booking rate that he would normally get from Strange to appear with Tech. Tech's still around, which is good because he needed his health insurance because he got COVID. If you didn't know that, he kind of admitted to it on Instagram, but nobody wants to believe it or whatever. um Sess, I think the contract is still active.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think
UB
it
as
is
a
too.
solo artist is still active. That is what I've been led to believe. Darian Saffron,
I heard he's out. Yep.
failed
Yep.
experiment. Basically, anybody that was on Strange Main. Because what I think Strange Main was if shit got too bad with Tech's ex-wife, they were going to transfer everybody over to a new company that didn't exist when they were married. And then they were going to give up half of a company they were abandoning in Strange Music. I shit you not.
Interesting.
Because if you notice, there is no Strange Main anymore. Everybody reverted back to regular Strange Music, including Mackenzie. So, Mackenzie, clearly, you can't really fucking drop your daughter. Like, I'm sure he did at some point while she was growing
Or
up, but you can't do it now.
or she carves out her own following. She uses that, and I don't look. I don't have any ill will towards Mackenzie.
She was getting ready to
Nothing
go
like that.
on
But
a tour of high schools. She was on the road visiting high schools when the pandemic happened. And the thing is, you never heard about it, and I never fucking heard about it, and neither did anybody else. Because what it was she was going there talking about killing herself and then doing one song and giving out promo. That's what this was. She did a TED talk about fucking killing herself. Now, I don't know if that's true or if she heard King ISO's fucking deal and fucking decided, hey, marketing wise, that's pretty good, Pop. We should push that idea that I'm a sad pretty girl.
I think that'd be pretty freaking twisted. I mean,
All right.
I
ISO
don't know.
still around. ISO's contract's still around. And I think that's great because he's like Tech 20 years ago, in my opinion. I love King ISO. JL Hood, oh,
Yep.
fuck out of there. Who's that new guy from the West Coast? Not Joey Cool, because he's gone too.
Dude, I was literally just looking at that. I'll have
Not
to take
Darian
a peek.
Saffron, because he's gone. Fuck. I can't remember his name. Give me a name.
Dude, I'm looking. I'm looking.
Because I know
I'm
his
searching the
disposition. I just want
interwebs.
to make sure I give him his proper due and respect.
I know this is just riveting. This is riveting stuff, guys.
You can clip this.
We're gonna.
Stevie Stone gone. Um, Prozac is like in a weird state of limbo because he's putting music out, but I'm pretty sure his shit's a la carte, and he's getting most of his money from movies now.
Hmm.
Shit, man, I can't think of his fucking Maze. Maze
Ah,
301. Okay, Maze 301 still around, but there's a very specific reason for that. Maze 301 is somehow connected to a man named Inglewood Muggs, who is Tech's sometimes bodyguard.
hmm.
Tech, as everybody knows, is loyal to a certain organization. This organization has been known to groom people to become entertainers and kick money back to their organization. And Maze 301 is one of these kids that's kind of been groomed to be an entertainer, but is connected in less than legal ways to certain things. But he's super talented. And I love the shit out of those guys. And I know Inglewood Muggs waited until that kid was ready to like bring him to Tech. That kid earned every bit of his deal. Now, J Trilogy. J Trilogy
I'm.
won the
I'm
PTSD
hearing.
contest.
I'm hearing. He's
He
about
won
to
the
see the
PTSD
door.
contest. You ever heard anything else?
Nope.
That's because he was fucking gone before the chain hit his fucking chest. All
Dang.
right.
Dang.
He wins the PTSD contest. He goes home after doing the show at Red Rocks and getting a chain and all that shit. Goes
Mm-hmm.
home with his chain. He's a young kid, right? Didn't have no following at all.
Yeah.
He didn't have no following at all.
Well,
Knocks up his girlfriend.
that was a great opportunity though too. So this is interesting. This
Knocks
is an
up his
interesting
girlfriend.
perspective you're bringing.
Travis calls him. Tour time. I'm not going on tour, man. My girl's pregnant. For real? You're not going to go on tour. Like, you're not going to fulfill the contract you signed. Nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go. My girl don't want me to go. She wants me to stay home. Okay, well, you fucking send me my chain back. Quote the Travis nevermore. And he did. And he did. And literally his contract went in a shredder. And there's not even like there's not even going to be a footnote called J Trilogy in the history books. It's strange.
But see,
Because
this is one of those things though where the music industry and I would argue that it's no different. But can you imagine a big corporation doing something like that for somebody whose wife is pregnant and having a kid? They would be sued like there was no tomorrow.
No, because he was contractually obligated to go on the tour.
But if there's but you have a thing called paternity leave in FMLA. You have FMLA. You legally have FMLA for paternity leave.
Yeah, but we're talking about paternity leave, which would have happened when the kid was born. We're talking about the 6 months from
so
zero
this
to
is
6
before.
months pregnancy.
So this is far before.
Yeah, this
anything.
Wasn't. He wanted to be there for the birth, and they said no. This is we just found out my girl pregnant.
So I'm not going to leave.
Let me go for 3 months. No, fuck you, man. Send me my chain back. Now,
I would ask for it back too.
Travis
at that point.
was dumb for ever offering a deal as part of a contest. I think a deal, you should not only be judged on skill. There's far more vetting that has to happen than you get at a contest level. Like, how do I know you're not fucking eating people?
Well, dude, what they should have done for that, instead of just giving it to the whoever wins, you make a top 5 list and you're like, hey, out of these top 5, we're gonna pick,
or you give people single deals.
Yeah, exactly. Give them a single deal, give them a limited merch run of something for the single, like spice it up a little bit.
Single
for them,
with the fucking feature, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
something stupid and a B-side.
But
that's a solo joint, like whatever the fuck it is. And I think Travis saw to some degree what Funk Volume had done.
Yep.
And said, fuck you, I can step it up.
Yep.
And he didn't think. And that's why, I mean, from what I understand, that's why fucking Dame never signed Gmo, because he thought he was fucking insane. Like every time Dame and Gmo met, Dame fucking assumed G was an insane fucking just an insane person, which I believe that. But for
Yeah.
real, like, yeah, they've slimmed down. He needs to quit showing off cars and shit on the internet. He needs to quit trying to own the adjective strange because that shit's an adjective.
So who do you think that you said something earlier? A classic Chuck Reeves original. I think it's original, anyways. But it was like the snake. What was it? The snake
Oh
behind
yeah,
the
there's some snaketry going on at the bat,
yeah, the
but
snake, the
it's just
snake, the snake behind the bat, dude. I want to
it's
I want to
just
hear about that. Like
no,
who's the snake
it's
behind the
just
bat?
there's lots of people who are unhappy over there, and I think they're not the only ones. I knew some shit was the higher you were in the fucking tree, the further you're falling right now. And Strange had the furthest to fall. Okay. Psychopathic had to sell their fucking office. I love taking credit for that shit, but there's also a pandemic going on. They had to sell their office, move their shit into Joe's house. Magic Ninja is doing fine, but they made and already had multiple revenue streams by which weren't dependent on them touring. Um, and they're actually one of the few houses that have expanded during this time, which is fucking crazy. Oh, the Horror got signed back in March, got announced in July, I think. Gibby Stites, I think
Yeah,
he was
I just saw that too.
I think he was discovered because of NetFest, because he
Mm.
participated in our NetFest project. And then Jamie loved him, like loved him. So, and these deals are, they're being structured different. They're being structured off what's being considered a no tour environment right now. The fact that they got any money tied up in touring at all is crazy to me.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I mean, there's just so much going on this year,
but we're
and
seeing the shuffle. I think
yeah,
Strange is gonna, like I said, I would expect to see Jelly, who's by far the most. Jelly's more popular in the South than Tech is worldwide.
yeah, dude. That southern, and again, probably could be a whole nother
There are
episode.
far more
But
white people in the
dude,
South who
dude,
like.
you ever hear you? I'm gonna take this way off the mother effing rails right now, Chuck. So feel free to bring it back to reality at any point here. But have you heard all of the freaking drama that's going on with, like, you have Upchurch,
Oh,
you
I
have
see that.
Katie
Wait,
No.
how is Upchurch? First of all, Adam 22. How are you going to have Upchurch the redneck on your fucking show, bro? And then how are you going to let him talk trash about fucking Old Town Road, which is the biggest song to ever exist ever?
But it's because he's from the South and he's about that country music life. But it's interesting. It's interesting though,
It's
because
hating,
what is
though.
he
It's
doing?
hating.
He's taking rap. He's doing almost the same thing that Old Town Road is doing. You know what I mean?
He's
Like,
appropriating to
but
shit.
but I
Yeah.
but I do I personally, I think we had a really slight conversation about this before. I don't think you're the biggest fan of him. I love that scene that's coming up right now because it's so interesting and different, and like the dynamics that are going on. You have Savannah Dexter. I hope to God you've heard of Savannah Dexter, and if you haven't, dude,
Yeah,
you need
that
to
name
go.
sounds familiar.
You need
I
to
got
go
a lot
check
of
her out.
fam. I got a lot of fam down that way, so I
Yeah,
hear about.
yeah, dude. Like,
There's a couple.
there's beef going on down there between like
what's that one
these
girl's
girls
name?
and
I follow some girl on Instagram, and I had never heard of her, but there's a lot of rap with her and Jelly. Like
yeah.
it seems like Jelly, Lil White,
Yep.
Stack to some
Yep.
degree still, Ritz definitely. These guys are like gateway for this,
Adam Calhoun
like,
now.
yeah, this weird offshoot. That's who they just signed to a It Goes Up deal, right? Who just signed to an It Goes Up deal? That's one of these country dudes.
I don't know. I don't think it
Tech.
was Adam, was it? It
No,
wasn't. It wasn't
no.
Adam.
Wait a minute, because that might be the other. That's the other reason I think that he's making a move towards that countryside, is because Travis signed this like country dude.
Well, while you're looking that up,
deal.
while you're looking that up, Chuck, um, I'm gonna run through these comments that were left. One that I find awesome on here. Twisted Insane commented on the video, and he basically just told them straight up, like, Hey everybody, I'm Twisted Insane, and I do features in 48 hours. so,
Yo, that's
so
fucking.
y'all can
See,
suck it.
that's what I mean. He could have easily have taken your shit and been like, to prove how wrong he is. For the next 48 hours, I'm doing verses at 80% my regular price, and I guarantee him by Monday.
Yep,
And
dude.
he would have gotten a grip of fucking promotion off
Oh,
you doing
oh
that.
my
I'm
god,
sure
dude.
you would have even said, "Joe, hit him up. Let's see how many he can do."
I would have had dude on. I would have had dude on the vlog, and I would have been eating a freaking feast full of crow for however long he needed me to, and I would have been like, "You can promote right here to everybody that I just talked to, and you can make this all right." And he chose not to. Whatever though. But yeah, dude, I had to show that one because it was freaking hilarious to me. And there's just a bunch of other ones in here, like of people just saying like, "Yeah, I was ripped off too." You know, it just there's so many, so I'm just gonna run through them real quick here, just so you guys have them and they're out there in the freaking ether. But it is quite hilarious to me, all the people
Hosier?
that came here.
Something Hosier?
I don't even know who that is, man.
Chris Hosier. Hosier765. 56,000 subscribers on fucking Instagram. Red bearded dude, country rapper. Followed by Scum and some other folk. Oh, Lily Styles is that other chick that's like a southern rap girl.
Okay. Yeah,
Who
I
I'm
don't
just
I
like,
don't
I don't get it.
follow.
I don't understand you. I can't relate.
Yeah, I don't follow her too much. I just recently started kind of paying attention to, like, you know, the Adam Calhouns, the Upchurches, the Savannah Dexter rapper slash singer is probably my favorite, just because she came straight, like her first track, dude, that she released on YouTube was a diss track to another girl that was like going out with Upchurch or something. Like there's all this drama that you can
They're
find on
all
the internet.
fucking that dude.
But dude, it was it was crazy, dude, because she like
How's your pussy gonna taste like
oh,
fucking chewing tobacco? That's
oh
what I
no.
think of. That's what I think of during this whole story. I'm just like, how much Bud Light is being fucking wasted?
lots of Bud Light,
Lots of diesel gas.
dude. I was just
Lots of
gonna
running
say,
coal.
there's lots of ATVs getting driven. There, you know, screw the Lambos with the butterfly doors and stuff. Like, get the freaking ATV out in the dunes. We're about to do this thing. That's like the intro to all the to all the videos and stuff. I love it though. It's freaking great. I love the mixture because like people forget sometimes how similar rap is to country music. It's literally the same crap.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
written lyrically, like the exact same structure lyrically. Like it's so similar, and I know it's always been kind of dipped into here and there, and people love it or hate it. Like people, you
Well,
know, they
that
feel like
tree
they're
split
appropriating.
with like bluegrass.
Yeah,
Tree
yeah,
split into like a couple of different branches, which was like blues, which led to R&B, which led to rap and shit. And then what we know as country came from like the grass side of that, I guess you would call it, which became rock and roll and then broke off.
yeah, yeah. It's insane, dude. But we've covered so much, man. Like,
Yeah, man. If you a strange music head, this was a good episode for you. But just appreciate what you got, appreciate what is going on over there, and just be flexible with these artists, please, and understand a label deal can dissolve because you wanted it to. Like straight up, it can dissolve because you wanted it to.
yeah, dude, I think that's a great point. You know, it's not necessarily everyone's getting canned or they did anything wrong. Sometimes it's just, hey, their deal expired. It's like a sport, right? You're on a
Or it
team
could
for
be, hey, there's a pandemic. We lost 80%
yeah.
of our income this year, and I needed to spend $1 million on Ferraris. Bye, Chris Calico.
I'm gonna assume that, you know, let's
Hey, JL Hood, I traded you for a Ford Focus convertible. Get the fuck out.
oh my god,
King
you're
ISO.
killing me.
You're safe. Like it's no, I can imagine
the salary cap has gone down.
I can imagine there being a fucking like a barbecue at Strange Music and there's a fire in the middle and all the artists are sitting semicircle and Travis comes walking in like Jeff Probst on fucking Survivor and starts pointing at motherfuckers and is like, "You've been voted off the island, JL Hood." Like, get
Oh
the
my
fuck out.
god. Yeah,
I can
dude.
see that happening. But yeah, things had to change as we see some people growing, some people shrinking. It is what it is, man. If you
Yeah.
had a high overhead before the fucking pandemic, your shit's done.
Yeah, unfortunately, this next year, depending on how it goes. I mean, dude, we could be in this for a whole nother year for all we know. And if they have these other strains and crap, like God only knows what that's going to do. I think a lot of things are going to be pushed online now, and online content, which was already kind of reigning supreme at this point, it's going to be that much more important. And being able to sell your product through those different outlets is going to be so much more important. Not getting bad press from freaking Joe Schmo, the vlogger, is important because everybody's online and people are consuming so much right now that even these tiny freaking nobodies out there are going to be getting views because there's so many people stuck inside looking for content. So I think it's going to be good and bad, you know, it's going to be good and bad for people.
And
But
that's actually a good way for me to wrap it up too. Is like, if you're a creator out there, let me tell you, you don't the entry price right now, the cover charge to get in the game, very low. You can distribute your album on a 1 RPM for no money up front. You can design merchandise on Teespring for no money up front. You can run a big cartel store with merch that you physically possess, no money up front.
this man
You
right
can
here.
you can post your audio podcast content to anchor.fm, which is currently paying a $17 CPM and will distribute your product to 9 different platforms for $0 up front. So if you are a creator and you are currently not creating, fuck yourself, because you have no place in this game. Because right now there's goblin fish, and if you're not repurposing or making new content or doing something, I don't know what to
Yep.
fucking tell you. The hustlers are gonna come out of this ahead. Straight the
Yep.
fuck up. It don't matter what you're selling. The girls all went to OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying?
And all the guys became rappers
Like
and
so we or
vloggers.
something or
Yeah.
podcasters. If you if you're on a situation that's not monetized, contact somebody you know who is, because a lot of people now are offering to share monetization with other creators in order to increase their own, income, and offer income to some of the people that may be on the lower levels on a non-exclusive basis.
Yeah.
Don't sell any of your content, own your shit.
Yeah, and I mean, and if you don't have that platform, you know, reaching out to people, you know, like Chuck, for instance, if you have a platform that you're able to share with people and you're able to work out those deals, use everything
Yeah,
that we
if you've
just
got a
talked about right now and try to work something out that makes sense for everybody. Like, you as the content creator, you have the right to say yes or no, or hey, let's try this and experiment. You could do it for 1 or 2 episodes and see how it goes, and if it goes to crap, you're no one's you know,
yeah,
worse
no
off the
harm, no
otherwise,
foul.
you know.
There's always ways to upgrade your game. And now that money is definitely starting to roll back into people's hands, exercise that and exercise it with people who can help you make more. So if you have a music video, pay somebody to do the shit correctly so it looks good. And then pay somebody who's got a larger reach than you. And you don't have to shoot for World Star. There's people like Joe, there's people like myself who I'm sure you could contact, and for a low price, they would feature your music video to their audience, which is clearly engaged hip hop fans.
And honestly, right now, content creators they're holding all the cards. So a lot of times, if you find people that are on the come up right now that maybe don't have those huge audiences yet, but they're looking for good content to put out there and to commentate on and to create with, those are the people you can reach out to and be like, hey, you know, if you share my video and you do a reaction to it, I'll promote your page on my socials for the next week.
Reaction
You know,
videos, cooking
exactly.
videos,
They should be
description
reacting to this video
videos.
right now, Chuck.
Yeah,
They should
no
be
doubt, no
reacting to
doubt.
us right
Pick
now.
one of my rants about Travis and
Yep.
react to that motherfucker. Like straight up. And right now I've been given the unique opportunity. I'm the head creative over here at Scumbag Superstar, and I was basically given the entire Q Strange legendary horrorcore catalog, and
Yep.
this entire year, since I knew we
Yep.
were going to get stuck inside, starting back on January 1st, we started an every 3-week release cycle that actually continues tomorrow with the release of Quintessential Q Strange Act 2, which is a 3-pack of tracks, one being unreleased, two being ultra rares that never got digital releases. But even if you can find somebody like that, if there's an underground rapper in your sphere and you know he had a record you liked 5 years ago, but no one's ever heard of him and he's from your town. Contact that dude and say, look, I have ideas to put your record out to a broader audience. These things can happen. If you're a creator, you can play with somebody else's toys. It's allowed. And
Yep.
with this Q Strange project, I'm being allowed to just play with somebody else's toys. Um, I'm selling everything from hats. Shout to my man Nems for giving me that inspiration. We're currently running 4 different merch stores through Scumbag Superstar, 2 of my own, 2 for the Scumbag Superstar brand. Fucking the YouTube channel, 9 different platforms on audio, the Anchor shit. Just get out there and get your shit out
What
there.
do people need to search to find you?
Beasthostbeard.com. That's the portal. That's what we call the head portal. You go in there and it's just, the latest thing that I'm pushing, and then the stores, my gram, my Facebook that I just upload to, and on all my platforms, we got daily content, whether it's new, whether it's part of the, Epicenter Online exclusive Q Strange drops, whether it's a creator spotlight on that channel, whether it's a repurposed clip from some of my content, which, we do a lot of those over there now. Every day on all my platforms, we put content on. And that's the other thing, consistency. Once you start, just keep pushing.
Yep. That's the
At
key.
some point, I think around April, maybe May 1st, I'm probably going to release my numbers because I want to show some people some stuff. Because I took an entire year off from YouTube to work on the Astronomicon YouTube for Twisted, which is like a pop culture convention, and that content was all pop culture related. I built that channel to damn near 7,000 subs in less than 6 months. So I'm taking what I learned from that and applying it to my own shit now. And it's working. People
Yeah.
are consuming. That's why it's like make shit.
Yep.
The more shit you make, the more shit I have to talk about. That's the way
Yeah.
I feel about it. If you make music,
Yep.
whether it's good or bad, you're giving us stuff to critique and talk about.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you 100% on there, and I cannot recommend this guy enough. So if you do fall into one of those categories that Chuck was just mentioning, you got to hit him up. In this
Which is
day and
literally
age,
anything.
yeah, right, dude. There's got to be something that he can partner with you with and help be something that's going to be beneficial to both parties. So definitely, he's got my stamp of approval. And the second I hear that Chuck's ripping people off, we'll be right back here talking about it. No,
Oh yeah, for
no,
sure.
I'll
pay people back. I'll pay people back at more than $20 a week.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But thanks again, Chuck, for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. Again, Beast Host Beard. Check him out. Go buy his merch. Go support his stuff. He's been putting out content for years. If there's a guy in the underground that I could say has actually put in the hard work, he goes to shows. He hosts shows all the time. He doesn't have the word host in his name for no reason.
Yeah, no, that's for no reason at all. I'll tell you.
So he's definitely one of those guys that in one way or the other you've probably inadvertently run into without even maybe knowing it in your journey in the underground music scene. So again, man, thank you for coming on. Anything last you want to say here? Any special shout outs to any place in particular?
Hey, you know what, man? I just want to thank you for the invitation. This has been a long time coming. We've kind of been interacting since the Team Backpack grind mode days for myself,
dude.
And I've grown since then, and so is you. But I'm just gonna say one thing, because straight up, man, this, like any other, just another motherfucking day in the underground.